All right, we are here. As I said, I'll randomly come back here and there until 2026 and we're regular. But anyway, okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. Hey guys, welcome. You see the title already and you can see it on your screen. We're going to ask this question today, whether you're seeing it live or in the post recording. Who is the greatest of all time in the 200 meters on the female side? You know, I started this by having by seeing a Facebook post, and they were saying Shericka was the greatest 200-meter uh, female 200-meter athlete of all time because she holds some of the faster times in that top 10 list. And we're going to go over that in just a second. But then I was like, wait a minute. Where's her Olympic medals? The Olympic medals cannot be discounted. And people were saying FloJo because she has the world record for so long. Obviously, she has gone to two Olympics and the World Championships. Most people forget that. This channel corrected the record back in 2021 when we were covering all of that because so many people came here and said, oh, she only did one Olympics. She only did this thing. No, she had gone there. She was NCAA champion, blah, 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 all of that good stuff. So she didn't just come out of nowhere like so many people tend to assume. But it is what it is. We forgive them. It's a new time. It's a new day. It's 25 here. I didn't want to age it, but I'll say it here. Let me make sure I can hear myself as I join in this stream right now. Before I go any further, got to make sure I can hear myself. Okay. Shout out to whoever's here in the live stream. Okay, there we go. I can hear myself, so now let's get started. Now, who do y'all, before I get into this, who do you think, whoever's here in the live or in the post recording, before I get into any step, we're going to measure this two different ways. I used AI on one of them because it actually simplified it and it was around the weight scale that I used anyway. So I said, okay, this is very close to the one that I had used when I was counting toward Olympic medals versus World Championship medals. Remember how I got the black class at the very top? Then we got the platinum, diamond, gold, silver, bronze, and all of those. I am still going to come back to that in due time. But for right now, this is where we're at. Who do you think? I'm using all of this time so that you guys can comment down below before we even get into it, if you're looking at this later. Now, let's go on this list right here. You see the people on the screen, but I'm going to let it down right here so that you can see who we got. I know you can see it in images, but we're looking. It's Allyson Felix. And unfortunately, the first time I posted this, I don't know how I skipped her name, but Elaine Thompson-Herah, Merlene Ottey, Veronica Campbell-Brown, Shericka Jackson, Gabby Thomas, or FloJo. If there is somebody that you think deserves this but's not on the list, don't be smoking crack now, okay? Don't be smoking and just say some random name. Don't say Marita Coke, because she ain't even, no, she's not on there. As much as she or he or whoever dominated in the 400, this individual did not dominate in the 200 like that. Was quick in the 200, yeah, but didn't dominate in the 200 quite like that. So we're going to look. And a quick aside before we get to that, man, I swear these tether slash long distance haters, why y'all got to do that? Because we usually have sports athletes. Let me move this picture over here to the side a little bit. Oh, I can't move it. Oh, here it is. Gonna move this just to the side right here so we can show this. Okay, why y'all gotta use a bogus picture like that for Sha'Carri? Come on now. We used to think that they just use bogus pictures on athletes, but mostly it's the black American athletes, and that's just any newscaster anyway. But you do see it with other ones, but if it's a white athlete, they don't do as bad than that. But forgetting that, you hating ass Kenyans that did that. Whoever the news person, the article writer here, Mark, whoever. Why Jamaican legend Veronica Campbell-Brown believes she would destroy modern speedsters like Sha'Carri Richardson. So before we even get into the 200 ranking list, let's look at this. This was earlier this year, back in March. Okay, so she said that this year. Okay, she said, it says here, Jamaican sprint legend Veronica Campbell-Brown, I'm going to just start saying VCB from now on because that's long, has explained why modern advancements in track and field will have made her dominate the field, which boosts the likes of Sha'Carri Richardson. Actually, it says boast. Jamaican sprint icon VCB firmly believes she would have clocked significantly faster times had she competed in the modern sprinter era where advancements in coaching techniques and technology have refined athletes' performances. This part right here, coaching techniques and technology. This is why when I get to FloJo, I'm just saying it right now, she's going to be weighted higher than even some of what the scoring is, because when you think about the techniques back then, even though if somebody says, oh, drugs. Look, we had Marion Jones, which was busted. We had other people. VCB had got suspended once. Other people had been here and there. You could say false positive. You could say all of this, right? Even with other people being caught and not caught using drugs over the time. Even if you argued that FloJo was on drugs. With all of these super shoes, super tracks, multiple times upgrading, because that Beijing track was an upgraded track. Then London used it up. Actually, from Berlin, that track was the fastest track at the time, which they used in London. Then 2016 got updated again. I've been keeping track of Mondo. Then the Oregon track and the current track from Tokyo. Those two are the quickest standards that they use. Oregon has one where you pour it in like a concrete thing, where it's not like Mondo where you can actually patchwork that and say, okay, we're going to fix this part. If Oregon's track breaks down, they got to resurface the entire track. They can't spot fix it because it's a poured in liquid type of polyurethane or something like that. Now, those two are the two fastest standard tracks. With, you got carbon plated shoes, better techniques, better coaching, resting, and even if they're not drugs as in performance enhancing drugs, you have better drugs today that are legal and better nutrition standards, and you still can't get her record. And many women could not get even close to that time. So we got to keep that and weigh that there. VCB is correct when it comes down to something like that when she's talking about that, which is why where we saw even Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, she still was faster than everybody else, but she was able to then break 10.7 because of these advancements too. Now, the retired sprint queen who called her illustrious career in 2021, I remember that, she was crying, amassed an impressive collection of accolades, including 8 Olympic golds, 3 of them gold, 2 of them was the 200. She remains one of only 3 women in history to successfully defend an Olympic 200-meter title, claiming gold in Athens in 2004 and Beijing 2008. Okay, so let's just go ahead, look at her times. 100, 10.76, nothing to slouch at. That's actually do some damage today. And that 21.74 would have got her silver. And that's not even including if she were wearing the shoes today. And obviously we have to age her down. But she's obviously talking about in her prime. But wearing the shoes today, on the track today, if we just put her in a virtual thing and took that time and put it to today without any additional boost from anything like that, she still would have got a silver at this year's World Championships. Let that sink in right now. Still would have got that silver. So I think we got some claim to some validity here. Now that 10.76, even with today's advancements, I don't know about the training techniques that might have helped her, but she was working with the same coach as specialist that's working with Noah Lau. So I gotta say, I'm not 100% sure about that. But as far as the advancements, that 10.76 could have got her a couple of silvers and maybe a win or 2 in the 100. She still will have a run for her money in that 100 because she wasn't necessarily the fastest 100-meter athlete at the time, but she was one of the fastest. So let's get back to this list. Out of here. So let's look here. We're going to be comparing the World Athletics rankings, and I think I just want to go to Wikipedia. And the reason being is because it just is easier. Let me just copy this here. We're going to use this to confirm it, but it's easier to do the calculations on Wikipedia because they just give it to you. So let's go here and paste her name. And then I'm going to go to the Wikipedia article. We're going to start with Allyson Felix. Maybe I could get to her last because everybody's going to know that she has a high medal count. But does that really count toward a lot? Let's go here. So we're going to go to Wikipedia here. It's going to make it very, very easy for us to just see what she got in all of the events. It's a lot easier than World Athletics. Let me go back to her page. We go to stats. Then we go to results. Oh, no, honors. It's on the honors page. And then we can kind of see it here, too. I just like that it's closer together. And I can see those easier on Wikipedia. But it is the same. I already looked. So, when it comes down here, how are we weighing this? Let me see if I still got the page up. Here it is. So, when I asked the AI to do this, it came out to about the same as mine. So, I'm using this one here because I did weigh it out of 5. And I was thinking roughly about that, where I said about 2 of those world championships equals 1 Olympic gold, more or less. And this made it very easy. So, I asked it, how would you weigh it? Olympics versus that, best out of 5. And it says Olympic gold, 5. World championship, 3. Silver at Olympics, 4. World championships, 2. Bronze at the Olympics, 3. World championships, 1. All right. This comes from being weighed at every 1 Olympics is 3 world championships. That's only about fair. 1 Olympics, 3 world championships. Right, that's kind of how it goes, and sometimes it's 1 Olympics, and then it's like the 2 world championships because it's 1 before, then 1, and then after that and whatnot. But the way here is the Olympics is rare. More people watch it too, so I'm gonna have my weight scale, and I'm gonna use this one. Using this one, let's look at it right here. What does Allyson Felix have? So she got an Olympic gold right there. We're gonna do it live. And if y'all want to take out the calculator, you can. I already did the math on her. But where is this page? Hold on just a second, everybody. I got this written down somewhere. And if not, we're just going to write it down again. So when it comes to the Olympics, Allyson Felix has 1 200-meter gold. All right. Then it comes down, and that was in London. She got a silver in Athens and a silver in Beijing. So that's 2 silvers at the Olympics. Then it comes to the World Championships. She was a winning woman when it comes to the World Championships, where she got 1, 2, 3 golds at the World Championships. So if we get the golds, that's 3. The silvers, I think she got 1 silver, if offhand, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been a bronze. And she got a bronze in Daegu. Want to make sure no silvers. Let's go back to World Athletics to make sure she didn't get a silver that we didn't account for. And it's color coded. I think that would be a little bit better. Probably. Yeah. Use that. So she got 1 silver. Now, based on the score, how we're going to do it, again, I got to give it to y'all right here. Remember, let's go back to here. Here's the score right here. Olympic golds are 5. All right. So she got 1. So that's 5 points. She got 2 silvers. So that's plus another 8 points. Then the World Championships, she's got 3 golds. That's 9, because 3 times 3, or 3 plus 3 plus 3, is 9. All right. Then she got a bronze. Uh-oh, I marked that one wrong. Hold on just a second. She got a bronze, which is worth 1 point. So that brings her total to 23. Somebody correct my math if I am wrong. Let's do this again. She got 1 Olympic gold. That's 5. She got 2 Olympic silvers. Let's go back over here just to make sure. That's the World Championships. Here we go. Here are her silvers right here. 2 of them, 2008 and 2004. She won in London. Okay, so those are 4 points each. So with that being said, that's 8. And then she got 3 World Championship golds. That's 9, because those are 3 points each as it goes by this weight scale, and 1 bronze. So that's 23. So based on that, Allyson Felix has 23 points. Now, if we go here again, let's go back to the argument that many people were making. They said Shericka Jackson. They didn't even remember Allyson Felix. They didn't remember Veronica Campbell-Brown. Because that's when my best friend was talking to me, and he said, hey, what about this Shericka Jackson and then FloJo? I just kept quiet for a second. And then I'm thinking, first thing first. I was thinking that. So Shericka Jackson has this on the list. She got 1, 2, 3 right here. She's second, third, and fourth fastest of all time. But then you also get her the 6th fastest of all time, the 8th fastest of all time, when you look at it from individual times. Here's the thing. We're going to look at Shericka Jackson next. Let's go to her stats. Go to honors. Shericka Jackson then goes down this list. Remember, I have mine, and I have a 2-way weighting score here. I'm going to do one that's not necessarily based on points like this, but roughly is. And this one is one of my weight scales. So we look at the 200. She has 0 at the Olympics. 0 at the Olympics. Okay? So, anybody want to say anything now? Do they think that she should just be disqualified by having none at the Olympics? But let's look at the World Championships. She won them back-to-back, 2 of them. Right there. So she has 2 gold at the World Championships. Let's look down here. She's got a bronze from this year. And no silvers. So she's got 2 golds and a bronze. We can already tell from offhand that 6 plus 1, she got 7 altogether. Let's go for the next person. Let's go to Ottey and weigh her. We can use the Wikipedia or World Athletics page. It don't matter to me. I went to the Google search because it typically loads faster on my computer with that. But anyway, here we go. With about 1,000 freaking tabs I have open. Ottey. Now, when I brought up Ottey to my best friend, he was like, wait a minute, that might be actually kind of close. I was like, yeah, y'all, many people keep remembering her medals in the 100 and forget that she was blazing the field in the 200. But hey, it is what it is, right? Now, here's one difference here. Give me a second here. Let me bring up her Wikipedia page too. We're going to do 2 things here. Where's that duplicate tab? Let's go back here. Now, the Wikipedia page should be one of the first ones, so we got to double check on both. Just to make sure. Smash the like buttons if you guys are liking this right here. Shout out to you, legendary Super Saiyan Jackson. All right, so yeah, I'm having these live streams at random times, so that gets there. This kind of helps you too with this listing here, but again, there we go. Now, going back to Ottey, she's got 1 Olympic silver. She's got 3 Olympic bronze medals. So, Ottey has 1 Olympic silver and 3 bronzes at the Olympics. Let's look at the World Championships. World Championship, she has 2 gold medals. How many silvers and bronzes is the question here? She's got 1 silver and 2, 3. Oh, she got 3 bronze. Now that one I forgot about. She's got 3 bronzes at the World Championships. 1 silver, 3 bronze. So let's add this up and we all do it right here. We're doing it together, family. Let's look. So 1 silver, that's weighed 4 points. 3 bronze, that is 9 points. One gold at the or two golds at the World Championships. That's another 6 points. One silver is worth 2 points. And then 3 bronze is worth 3. All right. Based on that, she's got 24 points. Okay, so she's a little bit higher than Allyson Felix. And when I had brought this up to my best friend, he was like, wait a minute, huh? This might be close and whatnot. Yeah. So based on that score right now, based on just the weighted score, nothing else, just mathematics and how they weigh, it would be Ottey in the lead for the greatest of all time in the 200. Now, let's go here. This might surprise some people. We got more people on the list. Do y'all think anybody else is competitive on this list based on this? Because we could go to Gabby right now. We could go to, we already went through Shericka Jackson. It's probably going to look similar to that, but we're going to go through it. Let's go to FloJo, matter of fact. Let's just do that right now. Yeah, we already know the numbers that she should have, but let's just do it anyway. Let's do it anyway, because all is fair. Now, unless I miscounted on Ottey, let's do it one more time. I got somebody, questioning this. Okay, she got 1 silver. Here's 1 bronze, 2 bronze, 3 bronze. That is correct. I got that number right. We got 2 golds at the World Championships. Then it's a silver. That's all. Let me double check. Yep, 1 silver. And then 1 and 2 and 3 at the World Championships. That puts her 1 point based on the math above Allyson Felix. So now we go to FloJo. This should be kind of easy to say, well, she's not going to have the points, but we still got to put the points on the score so we can compare all of them. And then we're going to compare a different methodology. So how many golds does she have in the 200 at the Olympics? 1. All right. FloJo has 1 gold. All right. How many silvers does she have? She has 1 silver at the Olympics. As people forgot, she went there. No bronzes. How many golds does she have at the World Championships? None. At the World Championships, she does have a silver. So she got 1 silver. Based on this math, let's go back to the math board. 1 gold is 5 points. The silver is 4. And then that silver at the World Championships is worth an extra 2. She got 11 points. So right there, she's ahead of Shericka Jackson. Let's go to Gabby Thomas. And if there's anybody, again, that's above that ranking list, let me know. Let me know if there's somebody that I might have forgotten. You said FloJo stormed in, did whatever she did. She wanted with the 200 and dip. Prime Daphne Skippers was a beast in 2015. Oh, yeah. You know what? Is she potentially on this list? I wonder. Remember, I said anybody that people would put up on the list, we could think about that. Now, let's go here. Nuclear fusion. I wonder why that's on one of the trending topics here. But anyway, let's go to Gabby Thomas. Oh, yeah. And by the way, this list right here, it's almost an equal amount of Americans and Jamaicans. Jamaica and the U.S. have been running back and forth, neck and neck on this one. Again, we're going to use the Wikipedia page. It's just a lot easier for my eye, at least, to pick this one up. So, Gabby Thomas, we're going to go down this list again. How many golds does she have at the Olympics? Let's look. She got a gold in Paris. That's 1 gold in the 200. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, because Elaine got that one. I was like, wait a minute. My best friend was like, wait a minute, she didn't get that? And then I just tweaked it and thought so, too. I forgot. Yeah, so she's got 1 gold in the 200 at Paris, which was last year. And then she's got a bronze from Tokyo. So she's got 1 gold, 1 bronze at the Olympics. And at the World Championships, however, she's got a silver. And that was back in Budapest. So she's got 1 silver. based on these numbers, let's do the math once again. Let's see if she's even higher than Shericka. This would be very interesting because we want to know everybody's weight score. 1 gold is 5, 1 bronze is 3, and then she's got a silver, which is worth 2 at the World Championships. She's got 10 points. So she's behind FloJo, ahead of Shericka with 7. Shericka has 7. She's the lowest one on our score right now. Who else am I forgetting here? Oh, yeah. Can't forget Elaine Thompson-Herah, Veronica Campbell-Brown. We're going to say VCB for last, actually. We're going to save her for last. Let's go to Elaine. So we're going to go to Elaine real quick. Look at how many of these scores. She's a defending double Olympic champion, right? You could say overall, because we're going to do an overall who's the best too. And funny enough, if we include the indoor, Ottey gets ranked up even higher, but they stopped doing the World Championship Indoor 200 literally, I think, the last time Ottey won. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because it was like, it's an advantage. It's too much of an advantage with those tight curves to certain athletes, so they stopped. But here we go. The Olympics. Let's see how many golds Elaine has. I just went over it right there, but just in case my eyes and memory had deceived me like with Gabby, we're going to put Elaine on this list because I lost my page, so I'm writing this down here. We got 1 gold, 2 golds. So she's got 2 gold medals back to back at the Olympics. Then we're going to look at, does she have any other medals? Absolutely not. As far as the 200, let's looking at the World Championships. She's got a silver from Beijing 2015. And that's all. And that's when skippers winded up beating her. So she's got 1 silver and 2 golds. Based on this, the 2 golds get her to 10 points. Let's go back to that page. I always want to go back over here so people can see that I'm doing this fairly. Plus, the 1 silver is worth 2. She's got 12. So she is above FloJo with 12. So then we got VCB. Last but not least. Easier to just copy and paste the name instead of me retyping it with all those letters. All right, VCB right here, Veronica Campbell-Brown. Do y'all think that she may be ranked higher than Allyson Felix and Merlene Ottey? Let's see. Let's go over here. Because me offhand, I was thinking it was either Felix or Veronica Campbell-Brown. And I was thinking even Veronica Campbell-Brown offhand. I'm like, wait a minute. Do you remember how she was tearing up the track? And I'm like, okay, cool. So at the Olympics, we got VCB looking over here. How many Olympic golds did she get? Athens, that's 1. Beijing, that's 2. She got 2 Olympic golds. So VCB got 2 Olympic golds, no other medals. Let me make sure. At the Olympics in the 200. So 2 Olympic golds. World Championships, however, she's got 1 gold. And that's it. Let me make sure. She's got 1 gold at the World Championships. Alrighty. Then she's got a silver 1 in Osaka. A second one from Berlin. Alright. 2 silvers and 1 bronze in 2015. So let's add that up. It's not looking like that would be the highest score, but looks can be deceiving. So that's 2 golds. That's 10 points. Plus a gold at the World Championships. That's 3 points worth by itself. Then the 2 silvers. That's another 4 points. And a bronze is 1. She's got 18. So based on this list, right here in this weight score, let's put it here. Let's put this back on the screen. Let's put this back on the screen, guys. Where is my image? Here it is. We're going to put everybody here. Let me make sure did I forget anybody that I brought up? Okay, I got Felix covered. VCB, Gabby, FloJo, Merlene, Shericka, and Elaine. All right, we got everybody, the heavyweights here. Yeah. You said the 200-meter indoor record would be gone by now if it was still at the World Championship. Yeah, I think it would be too. That's going to be, it's still going to be a challenge, but yeah. So here we go. Out of everybody here, based on this weight score, Merlene Ottey is the greatest 200-meter athlete of all time based on the point score. She has 24. Allyson Felix a close second, and I mean really close, 23 points. Then we got everybody. Oh, and then VCB, she's actually relatively close with 18 points. Those three are killing everybody else, and then it's everybody else here. You got Elaine Thompson-Herah. She's got 12 points. FloJo with 11. Then you got Gabby Thomas with 10, and then Shericka Jackson with 7. She has the lowest on that score, which actually offhand, I thought Gabby would be a little bit lower ranked than her offhand. If you just asked me offhand, if I thought just by points, if they did the points, I thought that Shericka Jackson. But then I get confused and just caught off guard because, yes, Shericka Jackson may have gotten the other events, which is what I'm thinking in my head, the 400, the 100, I'm getting all of those mixed in. And then I'm thinking, okay, Gabby, just the 200. So that's what I'm adding into it. So when it's like that, Shericka's at the end. Now, let's look at the other way. Now, that's one way to measure it. We're going to put them all together. We got two different ways, and then we're going to average the two together. Now, here's another method, which is not necessarily the way I'm weighing it. We could have this as a third, and then it's technically 4 when we average them. Would you say that the greatest of all time has to be accounted for? Because this is the way I would do it, but that the times on the ranking list will determine where you're at too. But then I don't necessarily know. Because some people say you can't be the greatest of all time without the world record. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Because then Shelly Ann in the 100, even offhand right now, I would argue that she would be. But we're going to look at that list on another video. But I will argue that arguably she's the greatest of all time, if not just the greatest, by what her resume. But some people may make a point. You can't be the greatest without the world record. That could be a point. So we're going to look at this. FloJo got the world record, 21:34. Just well and above everybody else. All the opinions about drugs or whatever to the side. She did get drug tested. They did have drug testing at the time. It's not like they did not do it. That's a myth. They did do drug testing. That's how they even knew the weightlifters from Germany that introduced the drugs and everything were even cheating, because they had tested them back at some previous Olympics. What was it, in the 60s or 40s or something like that, whatever, or 50s. They had tested them at some previous Olympics a long time ago. So they did test athletes. It may have not has been as organized as today, but they did test athletes. Let's not get that wrong. Now, with that being said, Shericka Jackson has 3 of these, 4, 5 of the top 10 times. 5 of the top 10 times, including 2, 3, and 4. She is on that list. Do y'all think that Shericka Jackson deserves to be weighted as the women's best 200-meter athlete of all time? Just based on that. Daphne Skippers, she has the number 12 time. Gabby Thomas here, 9 and 10. If you come here at the top 10. Elaine Thompson-Herah, she's here at number 5 all time. FloJo has 2 of the top 10. So she did this in one of the semis. She did this in the semi. Think about this. You did this. Coming back, 21:56. Think about that for a second. Y'all had 4 rounds, not 3 like today, as they started to do in 2012. I thought they started doing it in 2008, but my best friend corrected me. I had looked it up. But they had 4 rounds. So now you got more tired legs, right? They had 4 rounds. She did 21:56. And then came back and did a 21:34. Arguably, that 21:34 could have been even faster if you really think about that. Just think about that for a second. So she did the world record, which was a 21:56 at that time. Then she came back and did another world record. That's crazy. I don't know what anybody else says, but she kind of just whooped everybody's tail right there. Now, with that being said, let's look here. FloJo got 2 of those in the top 10. I'm not sure why they have these 2 highlighted here, other than they're this year. Maybe because they're still verifying these times or something. I'm not sure why, but they got them highlighted. Maybe it's because it's this year. It's 2025. I think that's it because I don't see any other Marks 2025. This wasn't a particularly of the quickest, but Melissa Jefferson's number 18 on that list. Julian Alfred's tied for 20th. Elaine Thompson-Herah tied for 14 along with Merlene Ottey, which also has 13. If you do it based on time, who do you think is the greatest? Okay, I guess that would be Shericka. But here's my weight score. Let's go back to Shericka Jackson real quick. This is Shericka's page. She doesn't have an Olympic gold. If you don't got at least an Olympic medal, I would say bare minimum medal, but I would say gold because the Olympics is rare. Something that's more rare is more valued. That's just how it goes. That's why diamonds cost so much because De Beers artificially controlled the value. That's why they call these things quote unquote rare earth metals. You hear Donald Trump saying that. You hear other people now referring to them as rare earth metals. Actually, they're not very rare. They're actually pretty common, most of them. Not all of them, but most of them are pretty common. The thing that makes it rare is the difficulty in which it is to mine them because it really pollutes a lot in the environment. So that's what makes it rare. So it's easier to control. Diamonds, it's a lot more of them, but they artificially controlled it. Therefore, you now can charge higher rates. Just like when the demand for something goes up, these freaking scammers start increasing the price. I say scammers, they say capitalists, white supremacists, whatever. They start increasing the price. Now, when the demand for me had went up with my thing, and maybe you call me a scammer based on that scale, I had actually increased my price too. But then at some point, I brought it down. I increased it when I was doing 101s with people because I'm like, I'm working with too many people. I'm overworked and underpaid. Now I increased it simply because I don't want as many people. But when I was selling a product, I actually went down in price as the demand went there, or at least kept it the same. But in most cases, demand goes up with the same supply, value goes. So more people watch the Olympics. And to be the greatest of all time, you have to be known. Because I'm going to ask y'all right now. Who is the highest consistent world champion and Olympic champion in a row and just overall in track and field? Y'all wouldn't be able to name the athlete because she is a thrower. You're not going to be like, oh, look at this discus thrower. She's got 12 titles. You're not going to be like, wow, she's got 12 titles. She got 5 Olympics. And 4 of them gold, or 5 Olympic golds. She's now going to the 6th Olympics or something like that in Paris. And you're going to be like, wow, she's really got this with all these world championships. I went over her the year before last in 2023. And people were surprised to hear that. But she can't be the greatest of all time, especially not an athlete. You could argue that in her fan base she could be. But she can't be a greatest of all time when nobody knows who she is. Like, nobody knows who she is. So that's where that comes into play. So you can't win the Olympics. You can't be the greatest of all time. That automatically takes out Ottey, to be honest. You could argue that she was always racing against drug cheats. Again, you could not get them on it. So therefore, that doesn't really count because number one, we had DSD athletes today. Remember how I was going to say, okay, with the drug cheats, you had DSD athletes that they didn't rule anything against. World Athletics knew that there were athletes that competed. They said it's a high amount of them that would actually be in the finals and that would be medalists. And they were tracking them at the World Championships between, I think it was 4 World Championships and some Olympics. But specifically, they had more control over the World Championships. And they were like, wow, it's a higher amount than quote, normal that you would see. So some of the medalists that we've seen over the years, when you think back to the 100, 200, 400 and stuff like that in these events, including the marathon they were going in there, some of them are DSD athletes based on what World Athletics put out. I covered that last summer. And also I covered that in 2021. So if you guys go back to that video, especially 2021, I said with Mboma in there, I covered that in depth with their data. They released it themselves. So even with DSD athletes, unless they were ruled against or anything like that, you could say that's an unfair advantage. They rule it now, but back then, some of those medalists now that have them, they could be a DSD athlete. What does that mean? Oh, well, that person still has their gold, silver, or bronze. That person still got their fourth place, whatever place they got. So when we weigh it like that, Merlene Ottey is not an Olympic champion. So that's going to be weighed against her a little bit, in my opinion. That's got to be weighed against her. She's not an Olympic champion, so that takes her out. That leaves Allyson Felix as the greatest of all time. If we average all of these things together, does Allyson Felix have anything even in the top 20? Let's see. She is number 19. She's barely scrapes even in the top 20. You would probably go 25, but she got one time in the top, we would say actually 25. That would be a better score. It goes 10, 25, and I think 50. My score stops at 30, and it turns out World Athletics now agrees with me with the amount of athletes they allow in each of these events. It's what, 30 or 32? Turns out I was correct back in 2021 when I made my ranking list, and then I dropped it. So I'm going to come back to that in 2026. But Allyson Felix, based on all metrics there, she would be argued to be the greatest of all time. And you said it's between Allyson Felix to Jay 777. If you're still here, why would you say Elaine Thompson? Why would you say Elaine Thompson-Herah? You said Shericka would have to be higher based on the time with the 21 fours, but yeah, not getting the Olympic gold yet sucks for her. Hope she comes back strong next season. I really wanted to see her with something else at the Olympics, but in Tokyo, which I thought would have been a great battle between her and Gabby Thomas, and then obviously her and Elaine Thompson-Herah. I think that would have been a good battle out right there to actually see them both at their top, but then she spaced out, and then she didn't look, and then she almost made the mistake again. What was it, this year? She almost made the same mistake where she's holding back too much, where it's just like, dude, what the hell? You space out, yes, you're a space cadet, but don't space out that much where you can't make the next round. Pay attention. Pay attention. So she messed herself up, but that's maybe because she knew she might have been doing the 4x4, and she did do the 4x4. I was arguing that she might have been another FloJo where she could do all of these events. Because FloJo did the 1, the 2, the 4x1, and 4x4. With Shericka, if she didn't, mess herself up, she would have. It's ridiculous to not think she wouldn't have made the final in Tokyo. So based on this score, I would say myself, Veronica Campbell-Brown, Allyson Felix, based on you got to have an Olympic gold here, and then Elaine Thompson-Herah. Those are the only ones I would say personally are eligible. Those are the only ones that will be eligible. If you went by and squeezed it and said Olympic medal only, then Ottey gets back into the conversation. I'm not going to put her in the conversation right now for that one. That one is arguable, though. I will give you that. That's arguable. I've almost said, okay, let me see. Okay, you said, where are these white DSD athletes? That's a good question. Now, again, many people were thinking, hey, that may have some racism to do with it, with the DSD athletes, because we don't see the white athletes like that. Because Marita Koch, I don't know. That either that's a man or a DSD athlete or somebody that's a really ugly woman. I don't know. A very homely woman. I don't want to necessarily say ugly. I don't want to disrespect nobody. But I'm not the only one to say it. You've had other commentators on the pro level to say some things about that. But Marita Koch, I don't know. I don't want to be rude. Because some people might look like a man, they not. Other people might just be really strong in the face. Because, some of the female athletes are kind of strong in the face. Yeah, sure. Or they got strong bodies and their faces a little bit different, but they got strong bodies. Oh, well, we're rating them on their athletic ability. But if you do bring that conversation in with the where the white DSD athletes, I would say allegedly Marita Koch could be at near the top of that list, if not the top, in that 800-meter athlete that got the world record now too. So the 400 and 800-meter athlete, that one high jumper, but I think they broke that world record, that could be at the top of the list. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't want to be rude. Please, World Athletics and anybody else that might listen to this later, don't think I'm trying to, demean anybody. It's just, look, to my eye, she is. That's just going to be my personal thing. She's not my cup of tea. All right? Daphne Skippers, not my cup of tea, but she doesn't look like a man. She doesn't look ugly to me. She's just not somebody my cup of tea. So I'm going to even it out for you. So you won't be like, oh, he just think white women are ugly. No. Look, she's not my cup of tea. She's not necessarily ugly, and she don't look like a man. I'm like, okay, there you go. So y'all know. So anyway, getting back to this. I'm going to say Allyson Felix wins it, but you could have a strong argument to Veronica Campbell-Brown, because that was actually who I thought was on the top of the list. But then I just looked at it, and I'm like, it's hard. I'm going to say it's between them two. The reason why I wouldn't say Elaine Thompson-Herah is because she just won the Olympics. She went back to back, okay? But Veronica Campbell-Brown went back to back, but she also has world championship medals, and she's also dominated in some of the fastest times of all time, still ranking on this list. So when you look at it like that, I gotta say, if you're gonna pick somebody, it would be closer to VCB than it would be Elaine. Elaine did it back to back, but how are we gonna forget Athens and Beijing with Veronica Campbell-Brown and remember who she was competing against? You gotta also factor those things in. Ottey was competing against a heavy ass field. That's why I say if you wanted to put a field of competitors and say medals count, Ottey could go back in there. But right now, my personal ranking, you gotta have a gold. Even if you got a heavy field, too bad, so sad. That means Noah Lyles, when we get to the men, he's gonna be discounted on that list because he can't get a gold at the Olympics. So I'm going to say is Allyson Felix just barely tipped over, but there's an argument to be made for Veronica Campbell-Brown because she's got 2 Olympic gold medals, and just the sheer volume of Allyson Felix being able to get 3 of those and then still medaling even after that, that's what tips her over. But I'm going to say it's real close. That could be there. That's my final take on it. So it was Swoboda Finest in track and field right now. What the hell you smoking, dude? What are you smoking? Hold on. Okay, you said Elaine is done competitively. She might be. I mean, she's 33. She might have a chance at the age of 36 still. She's going to have to play it real safe. But she's so injury prone. That's the problem. She's going to have to play it very, very tentatively to come back. So now that I've said my take, overall, I'm going to say Allyson Felix, but it's an argument to be made for Veronica Campbell-Brown. I'm going to make that one public right there. It's so hard to me. I'm going to let y'all know it is very hard for me to just look between these two athletes right here. Oh, dang. I forgot. I'm looking at the pages. I didn't even have the pages brought up. Sorry, y'all. I had this same static page. I thought you guys could see that for a long while. But I was bringing up all of these pages here. But between Veronica Campbell-Brown and Allyson Felix, I'm going to give a slight edge to Allyson. But even my personal take, I want to say my personal take is I want to say Veronica Campbell-Brown. That's where I'm trying to get my bias out of there. Because I'm just like, okay, her domination is just, I don't know. We haven't seen that type of thing just on the regular circuit. But then Allyson also dominated at the regular circuit too. So I'm like, and then also Veronica Campbell-Brown being the speedster that she was versus Allyson Felix. She was very fast, but I mean, she had those 21.8s to win those and whatnot. But I wanted to say offhand, if I think on the top of my head, VCB, but I'm going to say by the stats and numbers and just the sheer amount of what Allyson has done with the World Championships factored in, slight, and I mean only slight. I mean, you could flip a coin or just finagle something here and there, or y'all have an argument against that one, and then you could convince me otherwise. That's what I'm saying. You could convince me otherwise to go right back to Veronica Campbell-Brown. But between those two, Allyson Felix got to be the greatest of all time in the 200. In the 200. You said Valerie Allman has a weird relationship with her coach. What? Wait a minute. Y'all said Val Allman has a strong face. The Yams are top tier though. Wait a minute. What y'all doing here? Nikisha Price is up there too. Y'all talk about looks. Yeah, I actually do like how Nikisha Price looks. She has a pleasing face. You got a big ass forehead, but a pleasing face. She got a 5 head, but a pleasing face. If she ever hears that, hey, look, just laugh about it because I'll roast the hell out of you. But she has a pleasing face. I'll put it that way. She has a a pleasing face. Now y'all compare that to my response to Dina or Brianna Williams and stuff like that. But she has a pleasing face. She's good to look at. But she's somebody to that has some speed to her. I look at her more like that as somebody that's there. I would like to see her do well. Yeah, but anyway, I have finished the topic. The next one that I'm gonna come up with, I'm gonna ask y'all this one here. We're gonna talk about the women's 100 and then the women's 200. And then somewhere in between there, I'm going to do that video on Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. I'm also going to do something for Dalilah Muhammad, because I was going to do a post about a farewell post, but I think I'll just do a video. Might do a post and a video. But we're going to do a Dalilah Muhammad because she dominated the hell out of those 400 hurdles and was here for a very long time. And then we're going to do something on Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. But now the question I have for you guys to think about, who do y'all think, if there is even a person that qualifies for it, the greatest of all time for the 100 and also the women's 400? That's what we're going to do. I'm going to do it sometime this week. I'm not going to do it on a Sunday or a weekend because I value you guys' time. But you guys let me know on the comment section after this video. You said Dina and Nita are bad too. Y'all say y'all distracted. Man, dark skin wins me over. Even if somebody looks like a horse in the face, if you got dark skin, you gotta be Nita, Dina, like dark like that. I'll be like, okay, cool. You good. You okay. I'm gonna let them know that I don't like their face that much. I'm gonna let them know I don't lie to people. When I'm personally talking to them, I'm gonna be like, yeah, look, your face, kind of strong. But if you about as dark as that, I'll give you a little bit shade lighter. But you about as dark as that, I give you some more leeway. You got more wiggle room with me. So, when it comes to that I give them more wiggle room. But yeah, you said easily Shelly as far as the 100. But again, we gonna have to look at the list. I would think Shelly Ann off the rip. But again, based on what some people will say, if you don't got the world record, if that's the case, if you don't got the world record, then default FloJo on that fourth version of that list. FloJo got to be the greatest 200-meter athlete of all time because, or there is no greatest 200-meter athlete of all time, because if you can only go by the world record, you could argue FloJo wasn't around long enough. And there wasn't enough competitions like Timothy the Inventor. He said that in the comment section, which he made a good point about. There wasn't a lot of competition during the regular season for them to go to compete against. So basically the best competitions they would get would be around the championship time. So on the one hand, you get to rest your legs. On the other hand, you don't get to test yourself. And on the other hand, I mean, what's her name in the 400 this year? Sydney. I mean, she doesn't race that often, and yet she keeps dominating. So I could kind of look at it many different ways here. But yeah, when you factor that in, it could be no greatest one, I would argue, because it's either FloJo or nobody, because FloJo didn't compete that much. She did compete over a long period of time because she did compete in college. But at the pro level, you could say 5-6 years, and she didn't have enough competition compared to these other ladies. But again, that weighs for her. How y'all still competing today and can't get that world record? I'm just saying. But at some point, world records probably won't be broken. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for coming out. I'm going to see a couple more comments to see if there's anything to continue on. Let me see. 400 meter. I'm still a big fan of how Sawa overcame Shanae Miller-Weibo. Then Paulino Sydney showed up. Yeah. Oh, you talking about Val marrying her coach? I mean, have you forgotten, what's his name? Have you forgotten, what's her name? Jackie Jordan-Kersee marrying her coach? I mean, it is what it is, I guess. They're adults, so, I mean, they doing their thing. There's other people. What's her name in the, Megan Tapper? Is she not married to her coach? Which is the hurdler from Jamaica? There's many people that are married to their coaches. I wouldn't necessarily call that a weird relationship. I thought you meant something else. There are many people that are coached by their spouses. I mean, Elaine tried to do that, and we saw that how that went. That didn't go very well. But that could have easily been she got injured again just staying at the same camp she was in. I mean, it is what it is. But she got coached by her husband, allegedly coached, and she got very injured, and it might be a career ending injury, and where she can't recover back. We'll see. I wonder if Shanae Miller-Weibo is going to come back, or did she announce retirement? Matter of fact, so we're going to see. If only Shericka had a +2 win. Nah, she only needed a plus 1.2 or 1.3. I don't think she needed +2. She needed 1.2 or 1.3, and she would have been fine. Especially in Eugene, that was flat. Let me look back at that time right here on this list. That was flat at Eugene. Eugene plus point. Oh no, that was Budapest. That was flat. Eugene is arguably one of the fastest tracks on the planet because you see that here a lot. Look at all these Eugene times, and that's even from here. Eugene already had one of the faster times. You see Allyson Felix somewhere on this list at the old track right here in 2012. So you see her on the old track before they upgraded it, and that's on the list. But Eugene appears in this top list a hell of a lot. I'm telling y'all. We got Tori Bowie up here, Abby Steiner on the new track, Tori Bowie on the old one. So Eugene is consistently one of the faster ones, and I mean that with international athletes, not just American-born ones. But you look at some of the other athletes, you will see Eugene pop up a lot. So that track is very, very fast, and it doesn't have that much altitude at all. It really doesn't have altitude, but it's not necessarily at sea level. It's only slightly above. That being said, thank you guys for coming out. Hall of Fame boxer Minoto Donare's coach and corner person is his wife. Damn. So I'll work 60 hours a week for Mackenzie Long. Okay, y'all doing too much. Mackenzie Long. All right, I'm on rant mode. So for the next 5 or 6 minutes, I'm done. So if y'all here just for that, we talking women at this point. Look, Mackenzie Long, she got too many tattoos. She messed it up for me. Mackenzie Long messed that up. I'm like, dang, come on now. You didn't mess that thing up. I'm about done. So let me get off before I really go a little bit too far. Because I was about to just start going down athletes when I'm just looking at them like, damn, come on. What's the one British athlete? I was thinking about going up and talking to her. But I was like, nah, that's doing too much. Because this is a known athlete. And I'm like, nah, that's more of a follower move or something like that. But I had thought about going up because she's in my neck of the woods in Texas. Mary John. Dang, now Mary John. Dang, I'm forgetting her name. The one for Britain, because she's running for Texas right now. So I'm like, she's right in my neck of the woods. I could go up there and say, hey, what's up? But yeah, there we go. Those are some athletes there. But anyway, I'm talking too much. Thank you guys for coming out. Yes, I agree. Mackenzie Long does look like she bites, but that's just some people's face. And I will catch you guys on the next one. I'll probably be back in another day or two, and we're going to do that. And you guys let me know 100, who do y'all think the greatest of all time in the 100? And also, who do y'all think the greatest of all time is in the 400 for the women, if there even qualifies? Because sometimes there is no overall greatest of all time. There's just great athletes of that era. And we see a lot of great athletes of the era in the 200. But again, that was so hard to call, but I'm going to give it to Allyson Felix. So peace out, everybody. Catch you guys on the next video.